So we are recording now. And there's going to be an opportunity for questions at the end, so fear not. But if you do not have a piece of paper and a pen, why don't you grab one really, really quickly? I just have like this size, so nothing too extensive, but go ahead and grab that, refill your wine or your tea or whatever it is. And while you do that, I'm just going to talk about real quickly the importance of meal prepping, and hopefully you guys all realize that, and that's why you're here tonight. So a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicole Bascapay. I'm a one-star Diamond Beachbody coach. Most of you probably don't know what that means, and what it really means is I've just been doing this for a while, and I've taught myself a lot, and I've learned a lot along the way from some really successful people, especially about nutrition and meal prep. So I personally am not a fitness guru. I don't love fitness. It's not my jam. I don't really get into it, to be honest, but I do love nutrition, and that's something that I've learned along the way to love. So when I first started, I realized how important nutrition was, and I took it upon myself to teach myself a lot about meal prep and how to get things done efficiently and effectively without burning all of my time, because time was not something that I had just lying around, and most of you are probably familiar with that sentiment. So that's just a little bit about me. Everything that you are going to be hearing from me tonight is something that I share with all of my challengers, because I think it is a vital ingredient, pun intended, to our success in our health and fitness goals. How many of us know that health and weight loss is 80% nutrition? And we are living in a world where we are working 10-hour days and commuting an hour each way and have kids and husbands and dogs and all this stuff. So we want to set ourselves up for success. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, Maureen raised her hand. Does she have a question? Okay, if you have a question, Maureen, I promise we'll get to it.
No, I thought I was supposed to raise my hand. I thought that was like a cool little thing. I raised my hand because I run around and have no time to eat right.
You get an A+ for volunteering first.
Yeah. Okay, I'm muting.
You are so funny. I love you. Awesome. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to go over before we start doing a little bit of meal prep and organization. Just some really key points. I think most of you are familiar with the 21-day fix containers. If you're not, that's okay. You're not gonna die if you don't have them, but if you hear me referring to them and you have questions about it, send me a message and we'll talk about why they're important and how they work. Okay, first things first. Water. Water is the first thing that I always cover, because water is so, so important. We go to sleep and we wake up and we're already dehydrated. And then we have coffee or tea and we dehydrate ourselves even more. So by noon, we're already walking around in a dehydrated state. Water is essential to be keeping things moving, metabolism's flowing, or metabolism moving quickly and burning calories, and also just keeping everything working and operating appropriately in your body. So how much water do I need to drink? A lot of times we hear, oh, you need to drink 8-ounce glasses of water. So what happens when I have a challenger who weighs 200 pounds and is a man, and I have a challenger who weighs 95 pounds and is a girl? They should be drinking the same amount of water? No, right? So for those of you who aren't familiar, the equation that we want to use is take your weight in pounds. So if you weigh 150 pounds, divide that by 2, 75, and you're going to want to drink 75 ounces minimum of water each day. Now, some of you are looking at me like I have 3 heads, and you're like, I'm not doing that. I was not a water drinker. I drank coffee and coffee. That's all I drank when I first started coaching. So it was really difficult for me to get that water intake in. So what I did, found a water bottle that I loved. Then it got taken by TSA. So this is my backup one. And you figure out how many ounces is in it. So you need to be drinking 75 ounces of water. There's 25 ounces. Take your scrunchie, take 3 of them, put them around your water bottle like this, all 3. And every time you empty that water bottle, take it off. You got 2 more. You got it. That's how we're going to track it and train ourselves. You do not have to wake up tomorrow and be guzzling water. It's a training. It's a learning. It's a process. So that's the first thing I want to talk about for water. Going hand in hand with water is salt. So you guys, I'm a really big stickler about this. It's kind of like a non-negotiable for me. Get any of that processed salt out of your cabinets. Don't like put it in the back, put it in the garbage. No processed salt. You want to use Himalayan sea salt. Is everybody familiar with pink Himalayan sea salt? Raise your hand if you're familiar with pink Himalayan sea salt. If you're not, really easy to find. You can go to any grocery store, Wegmans, Harris Teeter, Giant. It is pink. And it is, I think, maybe $1 or $2 more expensive than regular sea salt. And it is going to be a huge difference in, again, what you're putting that is unprocessed, the most unpurified or the most purified form of salt into your body. Salt retains water, which is going to be contributing to your bloat, right? So when we get on the scale and you're like, I'm not losing weight, I'm gaining weight, that's water weight. And a lot of that is going to be salt in all of your foods. We put salt in everything. And on the salt note, if you're buying things like canned beans or canned tomatoes, anything like that, take an extra minute and look for the no salt added form and bring that can home and add your own salt if you want to. Because again, that's gonna have processed salt in it, not good for your body, not good for your goals. Got it? Perfect. By the way, if I seem like I'm going too fast, that's just because I realize that you have lives and families and I want to accommodate that. I don't mean to be rude. Next thing. How many times do you want to be eating? We want to eat 5 times a day, at least. I eat like 6 times a day, like small meals all throughout the day. 5 times a day. Why? This is what keeps your metabolism going. So what happens when you wake up and you don't have breakfast, or when you go from 10 a.m. to, let's call it 2 p.m. without eating, your body goes into starvation mode because you're not feeding it. So then it starts storing fats and storing sugars because it's saying, well, I don't know when Nicole's going to feed me next, and I'm not down with that. Okay, so eating those 5 meals a day is going to keep your body from going into that mode and keep your metabolism kicking hard. So I know it may seem like a lot to some of you at first. I was one of those people, when I woke up, I didn't eat until like noon. Truly. Like I didn't eat till noon, and then I would have wedding cake at night after my events. So that's another thing we're going to work on, and we're going to work on that tonight. Some options, some easy options to do that. Okay? Does that all make sense so far? Awesome. Okay, so here is what I want you to do. Take your piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. By the way, you do not have to finish with a doctoral degree to do this exercise tonight. I have made it very simple because I like things simple. So draw a line down it. On one side, you're going to write menu. And then in the other side, you're going to write grocery list. Okay. So then you're going to write B, or breakfast if you want, but B, skip like 3 or 4 lines. S for snack. Skip 3 or 4 lines again. L for lunch. You guys see where I'm going? S for snack again, and then D for dinner. All right. So what we're not going to do tonight is we're not going to plan day by day by day what you're going to eat. What we're going to do is go over some different options that we have that you can kind of mix and match. Talk with your husband, talk with your kiddos, and see, hey, here's what we're going to try for next week. Is this something that you want to try? Or if it's like, we give you some options and your kids are like, no way, we're moving out, then maybe we don't try that until, November, right? Okay, so for breakfast, I'm just gonna give you guys a couple options that I like to eat, and anybody who is, really familiar with clean eating and or meal prep wants to chime in after me, go for it. So for breakfast, we eat a lot of the little egg cups. They're made in a muffin tin. Literally, like, chop all of your veggies, whatever you want, scramble your eggs. It's about 1 egg per cup. Scramble it all together, throw them in your muffin tin, 12, 24. If you're a baker, make 3 dozen, I don't care. And put them in the oven at 375 for 15 to 20 minutes. They're really easy to grab on the go. They heat up really well, and they will stay the entire 5 days for the week. So we eat a lot of that. We eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs. That's something that I make all at the beginning of the week. And we eat a lot of Greek yogurt and berries. So your Greek yogurt, for anybody following my containers, is going to be 1 red container, and that's a protein. And I really like starting my day off with a protein like that, or with your eggs, and then your berries or whatever you want. I think, who is it? Is it Megan or Malia? One of you guys does the oatmeal, or is it Kelly? Whoever can. Do you guys?
I do oatmeal with Greek yogurt and berries every morning.
Do you?
I do half a container of oatmeal and then a full red container of Greek yogurt and then a full fruit serving of berries or bananas or whatever.
Yeah.
In a mason jar. And I make them usually at least ahead of time for the days that I work, so that in the morning I can just grab them and take them. And they're easy for me because I'm a nurse, so it's easy to grab them and sit there charting and slam them down really quickly. And I can cover them up and not just leave them hanging around a hospital.
Yeah, I love that. And again, guys, these are things that most of them, if not all of them, are going to be easy to grab and go, because we realize not everybody wakes up and just turns on Ellen for the day and eats their egg cups, right? That's not real life. Nobody woke up like that. I love that you guys are finding my jokes funny. These are really off the cuff. I'm not even trying. I'm trying a little. Awesome. Okay, so snack ideas. You guys write down some of those ideas that you think you might like. Make sure you write those down. Snack ideas. Again, Greek yogurt and fruit are a really great snack. You can chop all of your fruit ahead of time. You can grab an apple or grab a banana on the go. That's really great to have for a snack. I always have my Shakeology for a snack. I know everybody here is drinking Shakeology. So if you don't have it for breakfast, if you like something that's a little less, decadent, if you will, maybe you like something a little more hearty, then have your Shakeology for a snack. You can shake it if you don't have access to a blender. But if you have, you can also buy one of those, single serve blenders. I got mine from Walmart for I think it was $16, and it saved my life because I do not clean the blender every day. I have no interest in that. So fruit and Greek yogurt, Shakeology. I really like Kind bars in the morning, for my morning snack. I think it was Stephanie asked me before, and this is a great question. What are some, was it you, Stephanie? I don't remember. Somebody asked me, what are some snacks that are not vegetables or fruit that you can take? And Kind bars are great for that. The Shakeology, the Shakeology bites are really, really great for that. They are in your 21-day fix booklet on page 62. Oh no, yeah, 62. So those are really great, and they'll give you that boost of energy, for your mid-morning. One thing that I really want to point out is let's try and have our fruits in before 2 p.m. So Typically, you want to have 2 or 3 servings of fruit, depending on your body size. Look at your containers and do your calculations. And if you need help, reach out to the coach who invited you and we'll help you figure that out. But either way, you want to try and have your fruit servings in before 2 p.m. because you want to get as much of your sugars in before then so that your body has time to process it before it starts storing it at night and you're going to bed and you're just sleeping on all of these sugars. Even though they're healthy sugars, they're still sugars. So you want to make sure your metabolism and your liver have time to process it. So try and get your fruits in, with breakfast and or your mid-morning snack. If you don't, you're not going to die. I am like the queen of apples and almond butter at night. Like, I love it. So you're not going to die, but it's just kind of a really nice thing to try and follow. And it kind of accentuates your results. So write some of those ideas down for snacks and lunches. So for lunches, a lot of people really like to do leftovers. I like leftovers for lunch, but some people's husbands don't like to do leftovers for lunch, and that's okay. I totally get it. So that being said, I really, really love salads salads or wraps. So wraps either in a whole wheat tortilla or wraps even in your little lettuce cups. You can bring it separately, bring your filling, and we'll talk about some options for fillings, and then your lettuce cups in a little baggie, or bring your salads in a mason jar. So these are really, really great. You can make them the night before. You can make all 7 of them. And here's what you want to remember when you're making salads in a mason jar. Put your dressing on the bottom. I'm going to give you a sample dressing that I really love, and it's easy to make and it's healthy. So put your dressing on the bottom, then put your more solid food, so your green peppers, onions, things like that aren't going to absorb quite as much next. Then things like tomatoes and cucumbers, and put your lettuce on top. That way it's going to keep from everything getting soggy and wilty by the time you go to eat it on Thursday or even overnight. It will, if you do it upside down or any other way, it's going to be not so hot. And then you're going to tell your friends that Nicole's meal prep class was less than ideal, and I got to talk to them. So that's how you want to build your salads in a mason jar. As far as wraps go, again, I really like to use lettuce wraps. So I don't eat a lot of like whole wheat tortillas or anything, simply because I don't care for them. But I know a lot of people will do whole wheat tortillas with some sliced turkey and a little bit of like fresh mozzarella or something like that. Those are great. I like to do chicken salad as like a staple in a lettuce cup. So take some chicken, shred it. I'm going to give you a really good tip later on how to shred your chicken really fast. And mix it with some Greek yogurt. No mayonnaise. Throw the mayonnaise out with the salt. Okay? No mayonnaise. Mix it with some Greek yogurt. I promise it's really, really good. My husband looked at me like I had 3 heads when I told him I was mixing Greek yogurt with our chicken. And then, so I told him, sorry, okay, I changed my mind. I didn't mean it. And then I fed it to him anyways, and he really liked it. So do that to your husband. It's fun, by the way. So mix it with some Greek yogurt, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and whatever spices you want. Throw your grapes, your tomatoes, whatever else you want in there, and make a big batch of that so that you can, just go throughout the week. Every other day you have your chicken salad and your lettuce cups with your Bibb lettuce, or you can use romaine lettuce. It's totally up to you. Another thing that I like to do, especially when the warmer months are here, is take a couple pieces of chicken, raw or frozen, doesn't matter. Throw them in the crock pot with some organic salsa, whatever spices you want. Let it set, all day, 8 hours or whatever it is on a Sunday. And then it'll shred the chicken for you, more or less. And then you can put that in your lettuce cup. So bring a little Tupperware of that to lunch or wherever you're going to be. And then bring your lettuce cups, and you have like a little taco or a little Mexican meal. And everybody else is having pizza, and they're so jealous of your little fiesta in Tupperware. So I really like to do that. That's yummy. That never gets old. I love Mexican. Yeah, so does anybody have other like lunches? Any coaches on here have other lunches that you guys really, really like?
I'm a big like leftovers person personally.
Something that's really good.
I'm lazy.
Something that's really good leftover is a pizza bake with spaghetti squash and ground meat and all the yummy stuff in there, and it saves really well. So that I'll make specifically for my lunches. Like, it's not really leftover I didn't eat for dinner. I make it for my lunches for the week.
Yeah,
Good.
I love that.
I can post the recipe.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks, Cassie. And then the other thing I told you I was going to share with you how I shred chicken really, really quickly. So a lot of people want meat in their salads. I totally get it. So if you want to boil all your chicken at once, right? Sunday night when you're doing your meal prep, boil all your chicken. Probably only need like 2 pieces per person for the week if you wanted to have chicken on your salad every day. Boil it till whenever, till it's done. Cut it open, no big deal. And then when it's done, drain the water out. You guys probably see me do this on my fitness page. It's like, I think it's so fun. And I kind of feel like I invented it. I feel like people think I invented it. But I feel cool because it works. So empty the water out of the pan or out of the pot. Leave the chicken in the pot and take your hand mixer like you're gonna make cupcakes and just start hand mixing your chicken, and it shreds like that. It's a little messy. I mean, it's not like gonna be a disaster to clean up, but if you are in your work clothes or something, you definitely wanna be wearing an apron just because it splatters a little bit, but it will shred your chicken right away so that you don't have to wait for it to cool and then get the fork, and that's a pain. That's exhausting, and it makes me not want chicken in my salads. So try that. It's awesome. You can use that shredded chicken to throw in stir fries later in the week or whatever you want. Okay, so does everybody have some lunch recipes written down? Some lunch options? Awesome. Snacks, like I said before, I really like Kind bars and things like that for snacks, things that I can grab and go or have in my car. I also, I have some here. I'm a big fan of like bagged veggies, so carrots, because I don't have to cut them, baby carrots, but sometimes I'll just cut my, peppers or cucumbers. And then we have, I'm not going to show you because I use this, gross, like the little portion control containers of hummus. So you're getting that healthy fat in. That's good for energy throughout your day. It's going to like keep you from hitting that like slump, is that healthy fat. So you can get those from Wegmans. If you don't have a Wegmans near you or a place that has those, use your containers. Put your hummus in your containers. It's really good to have that available. It makes such a big difference, not only with the flavor, but with how it's like being incorporated into your body to include that healthy fat towards the end of your day. So I'm a really big fan of vegetables, and we need to be getting lots of vegetables in per day. I know that my containers, I need 4. So that's a lot for me, and it's hard for me to get that many in. So I love to throw them into a little like snack category. And these little baggies, sorry, this is used, I'm sorry. But these little baggies, this is 1 cup, and you can get these from Wegmans, and it measures them all out. So it has 1 cup, 3/4, half, and 1/4 of a cup. Bag all of your snacks, your snacked vegetables at the beginning of the week, okay? And then dinner options. I don't have kids, but I have a husband who doesn't like, the quinoa and kale necessarily and all that stuff. He likes pizza and tacos, and I get that. So I make a lot of like healthy pizza options, healthy tacos. So that taco recipe I told you about earlier, we'll do that. And then, he'll have whole wheat tortillas. When we do pizzas, we will use the whole wheat pita bread. So it's like this, like personal pan size. Buy your salt-free tomato sauce and literally just throw it in a pan with some garlic and chopped onion, mushrooms, peppers, whatever else you want. I promise you guys, it takes 6 minutes. Make your sauce ahead of time. You can use it later in the week on spaghetti, like whole wheat penne pasta. You can use it on zucchini noodles. Just make a big thing of the sauce at a time. And then you can use that on your pizza. Throw it on there, throw some fat-free mozzarella on it, pepperoni, sausage, or turkey pepperoni, whatever other toppings you want, veggies, and throw it in the oven. Pizza is also really great for leftovers, especially for those of us who are not big leftovers fans. If you don't like pizza as leftovers, get out of here. Something's wrong. Everybody likes pizza as leftovers. Kebabs are something, especially before the weather gets too cold. Make a bunch of kebabs on that Sunday or whenever you sit down to do your meal prep. Just chop all your vegetables at once, you guys, and throw everything on your sticks. Bring your chicken out there, your fish if you're going to have salmon later that week. Grill it all at once. By the way, if you're cooking fish ahead of time, I recommend only like shrimp and then your like heartier fish. So like a thicker sea bass or salmon or tuna, tilapia, things like that, mahi, they don't reheat very well in my opinion. But those are all things you can throw on the grill ahead of time, especially your kebabs. Your kebabs you can throw over a salad if you wanted to have like some other kinds of meat and protein on your salad than chicken. Grill it all at once. Sorry, my thing's going crazy. And then, yeah, like I said, tacos. So those are just some ideas that we use. We also use we do a lot of stir fries because it's so simple, especially if you have those veggies chopped beforehand. We made a stir fry last night, and everything was just already chopped. You throw it into the pan with some like sodium-free soy sauce, some coconut oil, ginger, garlic, onions. My friend asked me today, she's like, what was in that? Because she had leftovers when she came over. What was in that? And I felt like I should have lied to her and told her it was harder than it was because it was really simple. It was just a matter of like having everything already chopped and throwing it in some coconut oil and ginger. Things like that make all the difference in the world. We do not need to have these bottled dressings, these bottled marinades, things like that. You can get so much flavor just from seasonings and even some infused oils. So invest in 1 or 2 infused oils. You can get them from Home Goods or even places like TJ Maxx. We get ours from Under the Olive Tree, and they add a ton of flavor. And then your spices are going to add a lot of flavor. Don't buy the bottled stuff. It lasts in your refrigerator or in your cabinet for months on end for a reason, because it's not natural. Not what you want to be putting in your body. Awesome. Okay, so does everybody have some options? So let's spend literally like 2 minutes, and on that other side of your paper, let's just pick 1 or 2 that we want to use for next week, and try and mix and match some veggies that you might need that you can use in both. So maybe you like green peppers. Let's put green peppers in your egg cups, and let's put green peppers in your salad, and maybe we put it on your kebab too. It doesn't have to be the same green pepper thing every day, but if you like a certain vegetable or you don't like a certain vegetable, let's consider that when we're making our meal plans, okay? So I'm gonna do it with you, and we'll literally just take like 2 minutes, if that. Now I have to throw the kale in. Oh, another thing, I'm sorry. As far as dinners, turkey burgers, especially if you have kids, because kids love burgers. Use some turkey, some ground turkey, make some turkey burgers with like a sweet potato. You can make our sweet potatoes ahead of time. Kids are gonna love it. Okay. Does everybody feel comfortable with a few options? Awesome. Okay. So now I promise we'll wrap things up. I just kind of want to go over how a meal prep for me looks like when I sit down to do it. And then I'm going to give you like one of my favorite spices that I use, and it's kind of like an all-purpose, and a dressing that we use a lot too. The recipes for both. So make sure you have room on your paper. Okay, so when I sit down to meal prep, it usually takes me anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on what we're having. But I'll be honest, the first 1 or 2 times, it took longer than that. I had to come up with a routine. I had like water overflowing, and like tomato sauce was on my white cabinets, and I was dropping knives, and my dogs were terrified. So it does take, it's a little bit of a process, but practice makes perfect, and I promise the more you do it, the more efficient you'll become. And it's totally worth it, because who wants to bring out all the pots and pans and all the chopping boards and everything every single night? What happens? Nobody wants to do it, so we don't do it. We order Chinese food. Does it sound like I've done that before? That's how I know. Chicken lo mein, extra spicy. So here's what I do. If I'm having like for my sides at dinner, it's usually going to be sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, something like that. That's going to be one of my my grains. So depending on what I'm having, and it's usually like sweet potatoes and brown rice, or sweet potatoes and quinoa. I pick 2. I will turn the oven on, poke the holes in my sweet potatoes, throw it all in there, and then I have a rice cooker, so I cook the quinoa or the lentils or the rice in the rice cooker. So that's the first thing I do. I get all of those started so that they're ready to go, because those are the things that take the longest, and I also don't have to watch them or stir them or do anything else with them. So I get those started first. Once that's done, I put everything away. Get the rice out of there, get your measuring cup out of there, clean your space so that you can think, and pull out all of your veggies. So kind of like how we stacked our salads, things like cucumbers and tomatoes, you can definitely, if you wanted to store them in a big container together for whatever reason versus make your salads ahead of time, maybe you want to like buffet your salads. That's totally cool. That's what I do a lot. You are going to want to put things like cucumbers and tomatoes in a Tupperware together, because they're going to expire, if you will, at the same rate, right? All of your peppers and onions, put those in the same container. And I say container, and you can order some meal prep containers for like, I don't know, it's like $25 off of Amazon. And those are great for like packing lunches. But I'll be honest with you, when I chop up my fruits and veggies anymore, I don't put them in a meal or in a Tupperware. I put them in like a Ziploc bag, because it's less dishes for me to do. And most importantly, it saves room in my refrigerator because it's more pliable. So that's what I do. I grab my plastic bags. I have my peppers and onions in one. I have my tomatoes and cucumbers in another. And then I have my carrots and, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, that would all go in a separate one too, because those are your really hard, thicker vegetables. Chop all of those up, put them in, either put them aside if you're putting them in salads, or put them in your bags and then push them to the side. Same thing with your fruits. If you're gonna have fresh fruit, chop your watermelons, your cantaloupes, your honeydew, chop all of that up at once, put it in a bag or put it aside. Chop your strawberries. So I like to buy usually just bananas and apples and blueberries and raspberries, because I don't have to chop them. But sometimes, I'll be honest with you, like everybody knows, your berries are your more expensive fruits. So there are times where I'm like, let's buy some bananas and some melons, because I'd rather save, whatever I can on fruits. So whatever works for you, pretty much all fruits mix well together except your bananas. Obviously, you don't want to chop your bananas or your apples until you're ready to eat them, or kiwi. But get all that, wash all of that. Produce is now done. Next thing you want to do This is where we need our pens and papers. Make your spices ahead of time. So we make like a big thing. We have like a Mediterranean blend, a Cajun blend, a Mexican blend. We like things really spicy, so we have a lot of spicy blends, if you will. And then like a kind of just like an everyday blend that when we're ready, if we don't cook our meats the night or the week before, when we're ready, I can just take my meat and throw the spices on it and it's ready to go. I don't have to grab 8 different containers and do this, and then I got spices everywhere and put it all away. Okay, so here is one that we use a lot. This is from the 22-minute hardcore meal plan, but we just loved it. So I'm gonna share it with you. So this is just for like, I don't know how much this makes, but we usually triple it and it lasts like 2 months. And that stuff can sit in your cabinet for 2 months. So why wouldn't you do this? Just right on your baggie. So this is like a, kind of like a regular, like you can use on anything. You can use it on chicken, beans, salads, guacamole, salmon, things like that. But when I say regular, I mean it's not spicy. It doesn't have like a zing necessarily. It's just like a great all-purpose, if you will. Okay, so this is what we triple. 4 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. And again, we triple that. We throw it all in a bag and we label it Tony's Blend because that's what Beachbody labeled it. Although maybe we should change it to Chris's Blend. Would you like that? Chris's Blend. And we use that on a lot. Shrimp, chicken, salmon, everything. Make that while your quinoa and everything's continuing to cook. It's probably not going to be done yet. You have some time on your hands. You can't really go watch Ellen because you're going to have to take the things out of the oven. Make your spices so you have it for the next 6 weeks. Okay? And then after you make your spices, make your dressing. So we make usually 2 or 3 to have on hand because we like a lot of variety, but I'm going to give you just one of our favorites. And this is a Dijon vinaigrette. And I promise you guys there are no bottle dressings in this house because it's just not worth it. And honestly, we save money making our own dressings and it's healthier and it's so simple. So this is a Dijon vinaigrette. What I'm giving you now is going to make 8 servings. And 1 serving for those of us on the containers is going to be 1 orange container. Okay, Dijon vinaigrette. 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. 2 cloves of garlic chopped. 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 6 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And depending on how many times we plan to make this throughout the week, we usually only make just that exact recipe right there. We don't double it because the thing we need to remember is that salad dressings are not going to last longer than 5 days in your refrigerator, no matter what's in them. So you don't want to make a big batch of it because you're going to be irritated when it goes bad. Did everybody get those 2 recipes? Awesome. Okay, so now I kind of want to open it up for questions. Oh, I see a question. If you guys have questions, you can either unmute yourselves or you can type in this little thing like Michelle did. Do you only boil your chicken or do you ever bake it? That's a great question, Michelle. We honestly don't bake it very often. We either will boil it if it's for salads or we will grill it because we'll already have the grill out. And Chris is like the grill master and he's really good at it. I don't like to bake anything. Even baking my sweet potatoes sometimes is like forced. But that's a great question. You certainly can bake it if you wanted to.
Michael bakes a lot of stuff like chicken and things this time of year as it starts to get cold and it's less grilling weather.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll put chicken in for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. I don't know. I don't cook, guys. I let him do. He said $4.25 for 20 minutes.
25 for 20 minutes. Awesome. And does he pound the chicken at all? Does he pound it thin?
You don't pound it thin. No. Not unless he was going to like stuff it with something.
Yeah. Yeah, we just don't bake that much. I stand kind of corrected because I forgot once it gets colder, we, like you guys saw last week when I did my meal prep video, we roasted a ton of vegetables just because it was kind of like something different to have. So we roasted a bunch of root vegetables. I chopped them all at once. I did sweet potatoes and squash, acorn squash, and I think red onions. Tossed them in some like mushroom infused olive oil, threw some spices on it, roasted those. Those are really good. Those like hold well throughout the week. You don't want to roast like your asparagus because that doesn't really hold well throughout the week. It gets kind of soggy. But sweet potatoes, like root vegetables, peppers are really great for that. Mushrooms I think are great because the more they like char, the more flavor comes out. So we will roast mushrooms ahead of time. Oh, I thought something else too. If you guys don't like the egg cups or you don't want to reheat your eggs, here's another great idea. Kind of similar, but not exactly. Take all your vegetables, whatever you would typically put in your egg cup, and if you want to do like a scramble, and scramble your eggs, chop your vegetables, whatever you want in it. 2 eggs is going to be 1 red, so that's 1 serving of protein. Put that in a little baggie, and then when you wake up in the morning, spray some olive oil in your pan, empty the baggie with your eggs and your vegetables. You don't have any dishes then that you need to like whisk in or whatever. You don't have to chop anything. It's already done. And your vegetables can sit in the eggs overnight uncooked. And dump your little baggie in there, toss it up, and then you have a little mini egg scramble. You're good to go. That's for people, you know, if you maybe you don't want to reheat your egg cups or you just want something that you have a little bit more time. Those are great. Maureen, is peanut butter bad? If it is, I'm in bad shape. I think peanut butter is more, peanut butter, Kelly says, is one of those things you can have a teaspoon or 2 a day on the 21-day fix plan and falls into the healthy fats category in the PIO plan. Basically, a little bit each day isn't bad if you're balancing it with others. Yeah, exactly what Kelly said. It's all about balance. You know, we eat a lot of almond butter, but I'd be lying if I told you that we don't have like a straight jar of peanut butter in the house and I don't walk to it with a spoon and grab the honey and stand over the sink. Like that would be a lie. Yeah, everybody's shaking their heads. Oh, good. This is awesome. This is the best conversation. When I shared this a couple times before, when I first signed up to coach, I thought I had to like eat totally perfect. And we have huge windows in our house, like huge windows. Actually, the girl across the way from me, she came up to me one day and she's like, I see you working out all the time in the like thing out front. And I was like, hi, I'm Nicole. Nice to meet you. Anyways, the point is, I used to think that we have other neighbors this way, that they could see me and they would think I was like a liar or a cheat of a coach because I would walk around with my peanut butter and my spoon. And I wasn't willing to prove them wrong. Like I just didn't care. So I would eat it, but I would close the curtains and I would like scoop my peanut butter. And then I realized that's insane. And nobody is a Beachbody robot. And if they are, I want to be a part of a different company because I just want to eat peanut butter out of a jar. And here we are today. I'm here to share the story with you. No, that's a great question, Maureen, and I get that all the time.
Lord knows my diet is not perfect every day.
There's a thing called balance. That's for sure.
So, Nicole, you said something earlier about spices, and you're talking about preparing spices beforehand, but I thought you said that the spices in the containers, the ones that you buy and you stick in the cabinet or whatever for months, are not like we should be buying like the produce kind, like the kind that you can go into the produce section and get for like 99 cents or something.
You
So
mean
but when you said like 1 tablespoon garlic powder, like the only garlic powder I have is like straight out of a container.
Yeah, that's okay. I probably misspoke. What I meant is like dressings and marinades, things like that come out of a bottle.
Okay.
That is what we want to stay away from. Try to like not go directly for the blends. You know how they'll have a lot of blended spices already, not allspice, but what is that called where they do it for you? Mrs. Dash, she does a lot of stuff. I like her, but she puts a lot, and the only reason I say this, because the spices are all fine. They're all from herbs or whatever. It's just dried. But most of the mixed ones, the pre-mixed ones, have a lot of just processed salt in them.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't not understanding what it was that you were saying. Okay.
No, I'm glad you asked. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
We use so many seasonings other than salt.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like seasonings change everything. We don't need any marinades or anything anymore. And even I was skeptical about that. Seasonings and oils. Kelly's Michael book is fabulous. Michael's fabulous cook. Catherine says, what container would the Kind Bar be? A Kind Bar is a yellow. Our coveted yellows, right? We love our yellows.
That's my hardest one to divide through my day.
If Megan's not still on anymore, Malia or Kelly, you guys might know, there's another like cereal breakfast bar or whatever that is that's like Fix approved, if you will, so all natural, like not a bunch of that like aspartame and other what's the word, like gluing ingredients, if you will. But I forget what it is. I just know that Kind Bars are approved, and so I love them.
There's
the Lara bar.
The Lara bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's those, and then there's one called That's It.
Oh yeah, Megan.
Lara bar apparently has music on its website. Sorry.
Yeah,
The That's It bars are just fruit.
don't they have those at Starbucks too?
Mm-hmm. And at one point we saw them at our Costco, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, and you can order the Kind Bars off of Amazon, which is nice.
Costco carries those too, but they only carry like the dark chocolate one, and I like the vanilla blueberry personally.
You do. Wegmans has like a million kinds. I legitimately bought $25 worth of Kind Bars today. They're not that expensive. I just bought a lot, you guys.
There's a new one that people keep talking about. I don't eat it because it has cashews in it, but it's like a cashew raw bars.
Uh-huh.
That's something. It's got like nuts and supposedly healthy.
Yeah.
And free of all that stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. I probably wouldn't remember. Okay, so what questions do you guys have? Was that a lot of information that I word vomited on you all at once?
You said, sorry, I'm just going to say, you said earlier about having Shakeology as a snack. I mean, is that traditionally how it's had? I've never had the Shakeology before, so, but I do frequently do like a shake for breakfast. I'll do like a frozen banana, half a cup of oats, a cup of almond milk, and some almond butter and vanilla, and that'll be my breakfast. Could I like trade that for the Shakeology instead of having it as a snack? I mean, is that traditionally how it's done as a snack? Because it seems like a lot of liquid.
Yeah. So honestly, I mean, Coach, anybody on here can answer. I drank my Shakeology for breakfast for a really, really, really long time. For a really long time. But since we did the Ultimate Reset, I started doing fruit for breakfast just because I hate fruit. So it was like, I want to get it out of the way. I wasn't eating enough fruit. But I typically did my Shakeology for breakfast. I know a lot of people will do it for breakfast or lunch. I know that Kathy, if she's still on here, she has hers for like lunch and a snack. Anyways, the lunch, she has lunch and then she has her Shakeology as well. So it's kind of different for everybody. What I will say is that it's definitely filling enough for just breakfast or for just lunch, but probably not if you're gonna do like Shakeology and water and vanilla extract. That's probably not gonna fill you up. But if you're doing Shakeology, almond milk, the peanut butter, almond butter, and oats, like it's going to fill you up. So when I had mine for breakfast, I would put, sometimes I would put the oats in it, but most of the time I would put, not quinoa, that'd be disgusting, chia seeds in it because they're really filling. And I always use almond milk. So
I use almond milk in mine, and I add fruit because I have a hard time with my fruit too. Sometimes I'll add like spinach to it too because Nicole told me that you won't taste it, and she was right.
Yeah.
I didn't believe her, so I tried it. But I typically will, because I like have to be at the hospital early, and I know that once I start my day, like I'm not going to have necessarily consistent time to sit there and drink it. So I usually drink it on my way to work, and that's like the first thing that I have in the morning. And then like mid-morning, I'm typically hungry again. So then that's when I'll have like my yogurt with a little bit of oatmeal and fruit, and that like holds me over until I eat lunch. I a lot of times will eat lunch late, but like that kind of holds me over. And then I may or may not have that like afternoon snack before dinner.
So I was thinking about doing it as my lunch because I don't like, I mean, I'm a teacher. I have like 15 minutes to my name the entire day, you know, and then after I drop the kids off and then I pee for the first time in hours. So you're like, drink 75 ounces of water. And I'm like, you're crazy. I get to pee one time a day.
I'm with you. I'm a nurse, and Malia teaches too, so we can totally relate to you.
But my issue was that I didn't know that if I make, because obviously in my classroom don't have access to a blender, I didn't know if it would keep long enough in the fridge for me to eat it, because I typically leave the house before 7 and I don't eat until 12. So I didn't know if it would keep that long in the fridge.
so if you don't have a there's no freezer.
Fridge, no freezer.
Yeah, I would not blend it with ice and then try to keep it. It's gonna separate and you're not gonna like it. If there were a freezer, it will stay frozen. There's a coach on our team, her name's Sherry. That's what she does. She makes it the night before so that she wakes up and she can grab it from the freezer. You can shake it, and your challenge pack, Brianna, should come with a shaker bottle just like this and the shaker thing. So you can just bring your milk and, you know, if you have like cinnamon and vanilla extract or anything like that that you want to put in it, and then bring the packet and shake it up. But obviously you're not going to be able to shake a banana or oats, you know.
Okay.
So, Malia, did I miss anything? When and how do you drink your Shakeology, since you are a teacher as well?
My preference is to drink it for breakfast. That's my favorite. So I drink it and then I make it before I leave for work and I drink it on my commute. But when I don't do that, I've taken it as a snack before and I just shake it with even just water, which, I mean, not everybody likes it that way. I like Shakeology just like that with water and shaken. I think it tastes good that way. So
that's how Kathy drinks hers.
What?
That's how Kathy drinks hers. She drinks water.
I was about to say I normally drink it with water, but only for a snack. I've tried it for breakfast with just the water, and it doesn't hold me over as long.
Yeah.
It's perfect for a snack. Like, especially when as soon as I get home from work, I'll drink it, and then I'll work out shortly after, or vice versa. And that really makes a difference. But I don't know that I would take it for lunch. I think you're going to get hungry again. At least I do, but I have a big appetite.
See, traditionally, I pack really small lunches. I pack small lunches as it is because I don't have time to eat like a big lunch. So I'm not eating a whole lot anyway. By the time school ends, I'm literally ravenous. And my girlfriend doesn't get home until like 7. So even when I eat at 3 and we don't eat until 7:30, by the time dinner rolls around, I am also ravenous. And I have had, chips or something, string cheese or something that I'm like, oh my God, I have to eat something, even though I know I'm going to eat in an hour. I'm so hungry. And it all stems from the fact that I ate nothing at like 12 o'clock.
I would double up on your snack prepping then for sure, so that you have something maybe before you leave the school and as soon as you get home, you know what I mean? Something to grab. Because I'm the type, I couldn't do that. It also messes with me for my sleep and my workout. Like I don't get as much as my workout if I don't fuel up properly throughout the day. Because I work out in the evenings. But if you work out in the morning, I guess it's not as much of an issue. But I definitely would make sure you have more snacks because I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, and I would make sure that your snacks have protein or
Yeah.
your lunch has protein. That helps me a lot. So like grabbing like a cottage cheese cup or Greek yogurt cup, that really has helped me stay full during the school day because I know they can be really long.
That's the life of a school teacher. No food
Yeah,
and no
exactly.
pee breaks.
Mhm.
The pee breaks I couldn't do.
It's terrible.
I am thankful now I don't have a classroom. I'm an itinerant teacher, so I support 7 schools, which is a different kind of stressful, but I can go to the bathroom whenever I want, which is nice.
I'm jealous.
By the way, I'm going to stop the recording.